Tinkercad's bundle group feature has a massive upgrade. I'm here to tell you about it, so let's get cracking. We're going to start this with a template. Please type bit.ly/bundle26 and press enter. This gives you the magic part that's going to make this all come together. Of course, it's set to copy and tinker, so don't forget the golden rule of Tinkercad. Give a reaction before you copy and tinker. When you copy and tinker a project, you get an exact copy of what I shared. This is tiny, but it's super powerful. If you notice the green edge, that means it's a bundle. I will ungroup it quickly so you can see what it is. It is simply a cylinder and a shape that's going to allow for a flexi design, and then a hole that cuts out the area around it. Now, what makes bundles fantastic? I'm going to do Control B to make it a bundle group. A, it groups immediately. So usually if you union group, it takes time. B, this hole cannot cut the other parts that are in the bundle. So these blue pieces will not be cut by that hole. That makes this so it can flex when it's done, but as you can see, the ends will be outside, so they'll connect to whatever's there. This has been around for a while, but here's what's magical. Now we can click on this shape, move to your creations, create a new shape with it. Notice it was selected, and we can save it as a bundle. I'm going to call it Flexi 1 because I may make other versions of this. You could add a description, you can add tags. I'm going to leave it as solid. I'm going to choose to allow editing, and I'm going to save the shape. Notice it is now available right here. Let's bring it out and see what it looks like. It is an exact copy of what we had before. And check it out, we can ungroup the separate parts. We never used to be able to save shapes like that. I'm going to delete that one. Once again, you can bring it out and we can edit our shapes that are saved now. Notice I am clicking twice to make that happen, but how cool is that? All right, so I have bounced to Canva, and I'm going to quickly make a fun name. In my text box, I picked a font that's solid. I do need this to be all black, and then I'm going to make it into an SVG. I like to do that by taking a screenshot, grabbing it. I have a keyboard shortcut that lets me do that quickly, bring it to Snagit, and then I can instantly export it as a PNG. Then I can bounce to picscvg. This is my favorite site to convert with. I'm going to upload the picture. There it is in my screenshots. And then I always choose internal 2 or internal 3. You want this solid black and white image. If you have the one that has the double lines, you won't be able to use the silhouette feature. I do want to highlight there are a boatload of new choices. They are tons of fun to experiment with. Once again, if you've got an outside line and an inside gap, you will not have silhouette. Let's double check clean, see what it looks like. That is interesting. Move down to sharp. Ooh, I like sharp. I'm actually going to use that for the first time. And let's download the SVG. I'm going to just store this in my downloads folder. I am going to put HLMT so I can find it later. I'm going to put V5 just because I've probably done this before, and save the changes. Now we can return to Tinkercad, choose import, choose a file. In my downloads, there is the HLMT V5. I click open. You got to choose art and then pick sizes that make sense to you. I like my key change to be 70. If I press enter, maybe I'll try 75 just because 13 millimeters is pretty skinny. I'll see what that looks like, and then choose import. After a moment, our design arrives. All right, so we're going to resize this. The first thing I want to show you, this part's 6.2. So we're going to take the whole project and make it 6.5. So that way when it cuts in, there'll still be some at the top. I am going to take this distance and I'm going to switch it to 70. Notice these adjust super simple. I'm also going to take this one and make it 25 and press enter. Now we're going to use this shape because it's an SVG as the outside of the keychain. Simply click outer line. Pick your measurement. I'm going to do 2 or 2.5. I do want it to be rounded, and then I'm also going to maximize the quality. This gives me a nice outer edge for my keychain, and notice everything is connected. I'm going to quickly do Control D. I'm going to switch back to the default. That'll fill in these areas. Notice it does take a moment. If you wanted to fill in these gaps, you could draw them with Sketch. I'm going to leave this because it's a Flexi Keychain. I'm also going to make this easier to paint, so I can do it 2 colors. I'm going to do Control D, hit W for the work plane, click up on the top, choose D to drop, and then I'm going to make this 0.4 thick and press enter. Let's put the work plane back down on the ground, W for work plane, and click. And now it's time to cut this into pieces. All we're going to do is bring out Sketch. Simply click a 20 by 20 grid to set it down. Zoom back out so you can see the whole project. Of course, if you don't know about Sketch, click here to learn all about it. This is updated constantly and it has tons of great information. When you're done learning, you can simply close it. If you prefer my tutorials, you can check the bit.ly up above for my playlist. Now we want to cut these into separate letters. We're going to do that by pressing 2 for a Bezier curve, and then just click and make some sort of silly shape that cuts through your design. Hit escape when you're happy. I'm going to tell you that the width we want is 1.5 and press enter. If you want to edit them, you can double click and adjust it however you want. Currently, it has smooth curves. If you want to change to broken curves, you can just hit number 3, and then it only adjusts the end that you're touching. So I've got those letters split. I'm going to click somewhere else to finish it. Now to speed this up, we can just do Control C and Control V to make a copy. Do make sure you grab the one that moved to the right. Every once in a while, I accidentally mess this up. I'm going to just do Control C and V again to grab this one and move it over here because we're going to split this into 4 letters. Another bonus of copying after we did it is when we double click to open these, they've already got the handles adjusted. I simply want this one to cut through here. I'm going to move this point down a little bit, and then we're going to go in this area to get through the L. Of course, now we click on this one and adjust it as well. I want it to follow the T, come through here, and then I'm going to move this so it follows that line as well. And when you're happy with the route, you can simply hit Finish Sketch. Do make sure you've got these set to holes. Now we can line up our connectors. Grab it, do Control D, move it close, switch to the flip tool, and mirror it so that the hinge will be on this side. I'm going to grab these and I'm going to hit T for transparent. That way we can see through them. And I'm going to lock them so they do not move. That way we're only grabbing the parts we want. I'm going to bring this piece in. I'll zoom in so you can see it better. And we want this hinge to be to the right of the cutout area. So if I hit top view and flat view, it gives you a good view of how that pin is going to be sitting. I'm going to then take that pin and do Control D, and I'm going to shift nudge and just move it down to the location I want near the bottom. Once again, you can see this pin is on the other side of the cutout. I'm going to use this same trick to go on the other side. I'm going to make my life a little easier by hiding these for a second. Now I'm going to grab these two and do Control D. Let's shift nudge to the other side and just do a Control D again to get it close to the right spot. Now let's adjust them so they're perfect. I'm going to put this one right down on this side. The pin is sticking in a little. That doesn't matter that much. Once again, if you do the top view, you can get a better view to see if it's just exactly the way you want. I think that's going to be fine. Fine. Definitely want this one over here. And I'm going to put this one up here. If we bring back Show All, notice this pin up here is in the gap at the wide area or the semi-wide area. You can leave it there. It'll look fine, but you could also move it down to here. It's up to you which way you want to work with it. I'm going to leave it up here just so you can see how it turns out. All right, so with our pins all aligned and stuck in there, let's make the keychain part. I'm going to quickly set my nudge back to 1. And we're going to set this in a 20 by 20 grid. I'm going to tell you the size you want is 5 and press enter. And I want the wall thickness to be 3 and press enter. Just because it's going to match the rest of our project, we're going to set this to 6.5. And then we're going to bring out the sketch down below it. Once again, 20 by 20 grid, center line in the middle, and snap. Now we did that because it lines up our circle perfect. Check this out. Click this edge. Hit number 2. We're going to go over 5, and we're going to go down 5. Click, hold, and twist. If we keep this line straight and we move it out 4 millimeters, check out how smooth that curve looks. I'm going to hit number 1 to go straight down. 2 millimeters below. You could do 3 if you wanted, depending on how much meat you want on this. And of course, I'm going to do the same thing where I go out a whole centimeter. Notice it's a total of 20, up 2, and then we're going to hit number 2 for Bezier curve, because we had shut that off a moment ago, and we're going to click up here, and this time that same line is vertical and 4 millimeters. Now we do need to connect this without going straight across, so we're simply going to hit number 1, go over, make it a V, and connect. When we hit finish sketch, of course we need to set the height to 6.5, and we have all of a sudden got a fantastic smooth keychain holder. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Notice it's 22.5 degrees per turn. You can also hold shift and it's 45 degrees per turn. This gets it close to the shape. We can of course adjust it. I'm going to do F for fit view. And now I'm going to use this little handle to get it to the perfect spot I want. I like that a little. I'm going to change it to 0.25 and nudge it in so it merges with that corner in a better way. You can fine tune this as much as you want. I'm going to say right there is groovy. And now it's time to group the entire project. Don't forget we do have to unlock all those parts. Finally, Control G to union group. Notice these red lines mean Tinkercad is thinking. This is a complex part, so you're going to have to wait a second. But bang, there's our keychain. I'm going to do T and T to make it solid. And check this out. You can see how those pins are cut in all the way around because of those awesome bundle groups. But underneath, you've still got the connections. That, my friends, is why bundle groups are awesome. And don't forget today's magic skill. They actually can be saved and ungrouped later. How cool is that? All right, so it's time to get this sent for 3D printing. It is a single part. I'm going to actually paint by layers in Bambu Studio. We can simply hit Export, STL. I always store them in my 3D modeling folder, and I'm going to just put an HLMT in front of it. Finally hit Save Changes. Of course, now we can bounce to Bambu Lab Studio, create a brand new project. Let's add that file. You'll notice I have 2 of them. I'm going to actually load this one, and I'll show you the difference. All I did was I took where this gap for the L was and I put the pin down below. I'm going to choose this strategy instead of the gap up there. You can pick whichever you like. They do both work. I'll be able to show you up here what it looks like when the connection's at that size gap. Do notice there are some non-manifold edges. You can simply hit repair and give it a moment and it'll fix those. So let's do the painting. We're going to simply color it like this. I am going to make the letters white, and I'm going to do it with the height range. I want to set it to 0.5, press enter. I just want to go down to this edge. So I'm going to get right close to the bottom, click, and it does all the way up. At that point, I'm going to check my settings, 0.2 standard. That'll make it nice and quick. Slice plate, and you'll see that we're done in just about 40 minutes. Does have 4 filament changes. I'm going to be fine with that. Let's hit print plate. And let's send it for 3D printing. And a little more than 40 minutes later, bang, we have got a Flexi Keychain. And here I am. Now I've got 2 hands. You can see all the hinges behind. Once again, I chose to put this pin down here. But you can see up here, the gap between the T, it really is not that big a deal. And just like that, we have got a Flexi Keychain. Wrapping up quickly, of course I want to highlight I've got tons of text tutorials, SVG tutorials. Make sure you check the playlist up above so you can find the combination you need for the project you want to create. I also want to challenge you, if you make something awesome, make sure you take a moment to share it with me as well. A quick shout out to everybody that supports me via YouTube memberships. Don't forget there are 3 different levels of support starting as low as $5 a month. With any level of support, you get early access to videos. Please also make sure you pay attention to the members only post to get the most out of your membership. Also, a massive shout out to everybody that supports me via Patreon. We have passed 330 members. It has a fantastic messaging area where you can ask questions, post designs, gain skills. Of course, you can learn more with the bit.ly up above or the link in the description. Finally, friends, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget, every time you like, hype, share a video, add a comment down below, or click subscribe, you're helping HLModTech get just a little bit bigger, which absolutely makes my day. Friends, have a glorious day, and keep tinkering.